Hey, Al, welcome to Still Single. We just entered the Zoom room. Rob, you usually kick it off. Kick it off, man.
Sure. What's up, guys? This is the Still Single podcast with Zebra Kahana, Cowboy Webbs, and Bruno Moore. Kind of sounds like Bruno Mars. It's a Halloween episode, guys. We're here. It's October. Fall is upon us. The pumpkins are out. Trader Joe's is just flowing with pumpkins.
Yeah.
How has your grocery store been since fall has transitioned?
Alex, you've seen a lot of the country's grocery stores, right? As you're bopping around.
Sure. We'll kind of maybe own, and I'd also love to do each of us guess the others, because Rob, you hinted at it, but I got to tell you, if I were guessing, I don't know, like the guy from Stranger Things, but he grew up and had a drug addiction, and like he just got out of rehab to record a podcast.
That's me. I'm here, still single. Wait, which kid? The main kid?
I watched most of the first season, and then I stopped watching. So I think
the
I
pale
think the main kid.
Are your niece and nephew aged out of Encanto, Alex?
Me?
Yeah.
Two nieces, but I do appreciate the effort.
Sorry.
I appreciate the effort.
We live in a time where there is no gender.
That's fair. They know they're still into the animated movies, and those animated movies are fantastic. I missed them as a child. Quick little, because my siblings are so much older, I never saw any Disney, any of that, because I was watching what they were watching as teens. Mm-hmm. So it's all related.
How much older are your? How much older?
My brother's 9 years older. Sister's 6 years older.
Wow. So when you were 13, that would make
They were gone.
They were gone.
They were gone.
So all of high school, it was Webbs with Daddy Webbs and Mommy Webbs.
Yeah, I mean, I've reflected on this a lot. High school, I found my groove because of sports, and then you get your license, and that's a game changer for freedom and autonomy. But middle school, Webbs was a weird, dark kid.
Were you emo? Like, were you a bit emo?
Dude, I was not emo. I was emo in the sense of I would listen to such depressing, whiny music, and I'd write poems that were like too dark for a kid in the suburbs. And dude, I was just a scared kid. That's the truth, is I was a very shy, scared kid. Yeah.
Well, that's interesting that you bring that up, because I often say how not cool I was in high school. And I was recently talking, I was out at a restaurant, and I saw these 4 kids come in from homecoming. And so we started talking about like school dances and all that kind of stuff. And I realized that I didn't get asked freshman year. So the boys ask for homecoming, and the girls ask for winter formal. And freshman year, no one asked me for winter formal. And I didn't go to homecoming sophomore year. I didn't go to either of the dances junior year, and was just kind of like, this is really interesting. This is probably like, I was texting with my mom being like, who did I go to homecoming with junior year? Because I was like, sure that I went, but I just couldn't think of it. And then I realized that I didn't go. And she's like, you're surely making up for it now.
Yeah, you are. Fucking stud.
It's so interesting.
It's so weird, your perception of yourself in high school, because Jordan and I went to high school together. There's no part of me that ever looked at you as anything other than like a cool older guy. Like I swear to God,
really?
I never thought of you as not a cool older, like a guy that was in the grade above me that was cool. I was just like, yeah, that's Kahana. He's cool.
Thank you so much. I wish someone would have told me that back in high school. But at the same time, I'm like very grateful for not peaking in high school. Like there's a lot of people that are in that scenario. So like, I don't know. It's just like Alex is saying, like I was still just trying to find myself. Like I felt like I was just such a tightly wound kid, the way that like I was parented and how I just took everything so intensely. And I also had that TV show that I did for like morning announcements and stuff.
Oh yeah, morning announcements.
Yeah.
Can we find this somewhere?
Yeah, we should.
Yeah, I
dig
have
that
it.
up.
Yeah, I can reach out to my parents. I'm sure they have it at the house.
So, I mean, the three of us, we look amazing. If you're listening to this and you haven't checked out our YouTube channel, we've dressed up. Alex, you're giving me like,
Yeah, what am I?
you're giving me, some Brokeback Mountain vibes,
That's your
like mixed
perception.
with a little Channing Tatum. It's
Ooh,
working. It's
thanks,
like
man.
good.
Thanks,
I
man.
could see you like you're building a fence on the perimeter of a property
Fuck
somewhere,
yeah. Fuck yeah.
but also like listening to Mariah Carey.
It's very Texas of him.
Yeah, Webbs, you're in Texas now.
Yeah, I'm in Texas. I'm in Austin. This worked out. Can I tell you something a little behind the scenes here? And I'd like to go around and do everyone's costume. I don't like Halloween. I know. Unpopular opinion. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's weird to me. It's all weird. I don't love it.
Can we unpack that?
Yeah. Well, also though, so this was costumes, and Jordan and Rob were kind of giving me shit because they knew that I didn't want to do a costume and I probably wasn't going to be prepared. I'm going to be honest with you. I completely forgot we were doing costumes. And then Jordan said, hold on. I got your approval first that this looked good. So hold on. Then the Jordan and Rob, like 20 minutes before we recorded, we're all wearing costumes. I fortunately have everything I own in my car. So I just went to my car and said, what do we got? And I was going for Woody from Toy Story, but
you look good. Honestly, it's a good look on you, man.
Yeah, my first date shirt. That's for Jordan.
Oh, wow.
That's
for
Dude,
Jordan.
you even got the flannel on. Wow.
So
Jordan, why
much.
don't you take us through your costume for
Well,
today?
what does he look like, Rob? Let's
Well, okay, he looks like the zebra from Madagascar. But you look good. I think.
Thanks, man. Onesies are the best. It's probably the most comfortable thing I own. I was potentially gonna do Freddie Mercury, but I'm not fully committed to going mustache right now.
Sure.
So I held back. But I do think it's important. I'm the polar opposite of Alex, where I have about 4 costumes at the ready, and any kind of like, hey, there's a costume party, like I'm
That's
ready
awesome.
to go. There was a pop-up Halloween bar here in Denver last night. Took out the Marty McFly costume, was ready to go. Although most people don't think I'm in costume when I'm wearing that, weirdly enough.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's like a big red vest and blue
Yeah.
jeans.
So I have the big orange vest, like the jean jacket, like the undershirt. Like it's a great look. It's really nice. It's comfortable. I love that. But I don't know if I was going fully for like the zebra from Madagascar, more so just a zebra and onesie. But I'll
is it
definitely
like
take that.
maybe it was like a Target ad on Instagram of like for Coachella, like a bougie zebra onesie
This-
that's actually like $500.
So no, it's not. It was definitely not $500, but I did actually first wear it at Coachella a few years ago. It was
Sure.
for a friend's 30th birthday, and it was her herdy 30, something like that. So we
That's
all
pretty
were
good.
a
Yeah.
zebra
That's
herd.
pretty sick.
Sahara tent.
Yeah, the unts.
I went to Coachella this year. It was I don't know if I'm too old for Coachella, but yeah, it was a lot of hands, man. A lot of hands dancing. For all of our listeners, do not go on a 4th date to Coachella. It's way too soon.
And camping.
Yeah, and camping. We did car camping. She was awesome. Like, there's literally nothing. Everything is on me. Like, I'm just a weirdo. Coachella was also it's like very special place for Noelle and I, and it was just a bad choice. But yeah, are you guys gonna grill me or what?
Yeah, man. I mean, can you stand up a little bit, dude? Because you know what you look like, dude. You know what you look like? Lord Farquaad from Shrek.
Ooh,
Oh, I feel that. Yeah,
the
I
wig
feel-
for sure.
This is actually a pretty comfortable wig. Usually they really are very
Wow.
itchy and uncomfortable, but I went for the premium wig on Amazon.
Good for you.
Good on you, man.
So
Yeah.
since this is our Halloween episode, should we retell some stories of our favorite Halloweens and kind of get into
I like it.
dynamics of Halloween, because Halloween is a very interesting holiday for people in a relationship and for singles. It's very much like, okay, it's Halloween. I'm going to go out if I'm single and maybe I'll meet somebody and kiss somebody. And, it's going to be like a Halloween night. And then similarly with if you're in a relationship, Halloween can be a very defining holiday of like, are we going to dress up together? Are we going to do something together? And it's a very fun holiday that like doesn't involve the family. So it's not like you have to like, it's not like your first Thanksgiving together, right? As a couple. So yeah, I'm just intrigued to hear how Alex is feeling in Texas.
Well, Halloween in general, I think it's funny that us three have shared it. We've definitely had 2 Halloweens together. I know Rob and I, not to go down a rabbit hole, Rob and I did a world record video chat. It's another story for another day.
For 2 weeks straight, we FaceTimed basically.
But we were
and set
ketchup
a
and
world
mustard.
record. Yeah, we were ketchup and mustard. You were in LA and I was in Chicago.
Yeah. And then us all did the last 2 Halloweens together, which were very different because Rob and I were both drinking 2 years ago. Like someone dared us, we couldn't.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
That was the worst. I fell asleep on some guy's lawn furniture. Literally on his outdoor furniture, I passed out and he tapped me and he's like, "Hey buddy, are you okay?"
I think that was the last.
"No, I'm fine."
I think that was the last time I got the spins from drinking too. If I remember correctly, we drank so much. It was a good time. Love a good house party for Halloween. That's my jam when it comes to Halloween, of just like bopping around a house party or 2. And yeah, that's just the vibe. And then the following year we were all in LA. This is when I was packing up all my stuff to move to Denver officially. We got a hotel in downtown LA and went to a Great Gatsby
yeah, that was fun.
Themed party, 1920s, which all of us just like kind of were just in suits. We didn't really like fully.
That was a tough Halloween.
It's a tough
last Halloween.
You know what was a good, my favorite part of that Halloween was us 3 having dinner together. That was like, we were laughing and that was great. And it was like, you know what, this is the best. And then we went to a party and it was meh. And we went to a bar and it was meh. But us just hanging was good.
I agree. I think the dinner, we had a nice Italian dinner. It was lovely. It was so nice. And we kind of talked about, life and God, this Halloween. Okay. So what are you guys doing for Halloween? Do you have plans set up? No.
See,
I don't have any plans either. I mean, it's it's still early.
All right,
but
screw it. I'm gonna not be Jordan. I'm gonna not be weird and just okay. So I may do an outfit. I have feelings for someone.
We know you said it in the last 2 episodes.
I don't know, man. Halloween is
but you just hate costumes so much.
I don't know why I do. But I don't. I guess this is gonna sound so like corny. I don't know. It's uncomfortable in the make-believe aspect. And I get it. I get it. I don't like them. I don't like them.
Are you dressing up this year? What is your costume?
Yeah, I'm sure I will. I don't know the exact. But
okay.
Yeah.
But you got 2 weeks. Yeah.
We do have 2 weeks. We have a lot of time.
Sure. I mean,
I just hope I get invited to some Halloween parties.
Yeah.
I don't know. I honestly, I might just miss the holiday. I might, no one,
so many people.
I do know so many people and I guarantee you it's going to be fun. But like one of my buddies, Jared, he's going to be in New York. And then literally every other friend I have in LA has a girlfriend.
Evan Paley, he's married, right?
He's married, dude. He's super married. Love you, Linz. But yeah, I don't know. I think Halloween, what if I went to New York for Halloween?
What are we doing?
What?
Why don't you guys come to LA for Halloween? No. Okay, that's not it.
No,
That's not it.
I'm just saying, what are we doing? Because I think your default is always like going to New York and like booking this flight and then not going on the flight.
No, this time I'm actually going to New York. So Ghosted, my short film, got into the Bushwick Film Festival.
It's so spooky, dude. It's
It's-
Halloween. It's
Yeah,
ghosted.
spooky
Dude, it's
season.
so spooky. And so Frank Weber, Alex's dad, and I are going to go to New York for a weekend. Yeah, so the screening's on November 5th. So I'm thinking about going that weekend to New York, but that's
You
not
should.
Halloween weekend.
Dang, I wish we talked about this sooner because I'm in New York for the whole week before and was trying to figure out what to do and just booked my flights back on the 28th. So I'm in Denver for this. And yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I would love to find a house party. I just texted some friends last night because I went to that pop-up bar and it was
Yeah.
nice to be in costume. But me and my buddy were the only two people in costume for this. Everyone else was non-costume. It was,
Bummer.
yeah, it was a little interesting,
weird.
especially it being October 12th, to date this just a little bit, but like it felt like just a little too early to be doing costume stuff.
Yeah, I feel like it's October 20th and after. And then you
Yeah.
got like 2 solid weeks of it. So do you guys, do any stories come to mind? Obviously, we've had our last 2 Halloweens together, but like, do any stories come to mind of, a great kiss or a great night or just like something juicy that happened on Halloween?
I did do a couple's costume with this girl who I was dating. It was a very small window of dating, and I was still not over my ex at the time and was like, cool, I'm going to be couple costume. We're going to post it on social media and like make her jealous and show off. And, I didn't do we did like a Riding Hood and like the Axeman or something, and
Oh,
she
nice.
went a little more extreme with like the makeup, and I just like kind of showed up in like flannel and had an axe, and I was like, oh, I should have done like, if we were doing more spooky shit, you should have informed me on this. And then what happened? So that night, like it was almost like a competition for her to be like the last one out at night. And so it was like 2:33 in the morning at this point, and like she was still like, let's go, we're still gonna party. And I'm just like, I thought we were going home at like 1 at the latest. Like,
Right.
I was hopeful that we would hook up at the end of the night. And it was just like we got back to her house, and then she like invited everyone to come party there still. And I was just like, what are we doing?
It's like 4 a.m.
Yeah, like still trying to
that's a
go.
lot.
And then she was
That's a
just
lot.
like, I remember her like bragging about like how she was like the last one to stay up. And I was like, that's not that cool.
Oh,
Like,
We made it all the way.
exactly. So that quote unquote relationship ended pretty shortly after that. And I guess it was a little rushed on my end of like, let's do this couple costume. And it was a very like selfish reasonings behind it as well. But
Did you think about your ex a lot on that Halloween?
honestly, no. But it was like my intention of being like, oh, this really attractive girl, I'm going to post that we're a couple costume. Because the ex and I, like a year or two prior, did do a couple's costume together. And she's almost the reason why I like really got into Halloween, because she was really about it. So for 2 years, we did couple costumes together. And it was awesome. I had so much fun with it. And I was like, yeah, Halloween's great. You can be creative. And I like to juxtapose like Alex's feelings around it. Like, I think it's awesome. I think seeing people's creativity and, but my one rule with Halloween is that if you have to explain your costume, you didn't do a good enough job.
Right.
Marty McFly.
Yeah, Marty McFly.
I feel that way about Christmas. I know that you two may not feel that way about Christmas, but you made me think of this topic, so this is funny. Like, costumes can go so many different ways. And listen, guys do this and girls do this. But I remember my college girlfriend, I was so like over the moon for her, and we were doing long distance, and it was tough. We were both in college doing long distance. Like every weekend was just drama because, I mean, come on, we're both going to parties, and it's, and it was Halloween. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And it's a tough thing for anyone to do, let alone two 19-year-olds, across the country. So it was Halloween, and she's like, I'm like, what are you going to be? And she's like, I'm just going to be a bumblebee. And I was like, oh, cool. And then the next day I saw photos, and I was like, That is the hottest. I've never seen a bumblebee like dressed with like a bikini top and a bikini bottom.
And you guys weren't together. So
no, we were together. We were together. And
Oh.
it was great. You should do whatever you want to do. I think it's just funny how there's definitely this thing where people either go super intense, like blood and lashes and all this as like grotesque, or they do, guys and girls do this, like, I'm a slutty apple picker. I'm like, I'm a farmer. I'm a slutty farmer.
But I'm a farmer that fucks. Like, no, I agree. I think Halloween is definitely the sluttiest. It's the sluttiest holiday. Like,
name a sluttier holiday.
You can't name a slut. Ramadan? Yeah, right. Get out of here.
4th of July.
4th of July is pretty slutty, but Halloween.
Because that's the thing. Because you're a different person for the night. Like, there is nothing more difficult than meeting someone for the first time on Halloween and then seeing them again out of costume and being like,
"You're not a sexy bumblebee for real." Like, you're just a human woman.
Yeah, you get to be someone different. I think.
I remember I dressed up one Halloween. I was at NYU in New York, and I dressed up like a pirate.
Nice.
And for some reason, everyone just kept coming up to me like, "Oh, you're a gay pirate." And I was like, "No, I'm just a pirate." And they're like, "You're a gay pirate. That's great." And I ended up, I hooked up with this girl, and we had so much fun. And I took some Molly. I remember this.
Wow.
We stayed up all night, and I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. Staying up all night, dressed as a gay pirate, hooking up with this girl, and we just made out. But we made out very heavily, and we stayed up. And then I took her out. We went out for breakfast, and I noticed I literally got blue balls. This is the only time in my life that I got blue balls from all the intense making out over the course of the night of Halloween. And I had to leave her at breakfast because I was in so much pain. I literally was like, "I'm so sorry, but I need to go home." And I went home, and I'm like coming down from this Molly, and my balls hurt so much. I'm in so much pain. And I'm taking off this gay pirate outfit, and I'm just like jerking off, trying to just like get back to zero.
Yeah.
And then finally I fell asleep, and I was okay when I woke up. But it was kind of nightmarish now that I think about it.
That's a promo video right there.
It's like, oh
gosh,
Halloween,
still single.
Halloween.
How are we doing, everybody? Let's just do a little. I like when we do the check-ins.
Oh yeah, let's do our check-ins. Do you want to start, Alex?
Yeah,
sure.
You got a lot going on.
I'll do the check-in. I'm grateful for this podcast because I like how we can hop from blue balls to like insights on heartbreak and vulnerability. So I'm grateful for this podcast.
Hell yeah.
It was a bit emotional of leaving Boulder. So I left Boulder. I'm very big on like listening to, like listening, whatever that is, your own intuition. Hopefully, I believe, something bigger than us looking out for us. So I really feel like that's what led me to Boulder. And I was there for a year, but honestly, I was like mountain man, and it was a great place in the mountains, and it was so awesome for this last year. For so many reasons, but then I was like, all right, Webbs, like maybe go be a part of society again. So I just have a lot of community in Austin. And so I drove the 15 hours, which was an interesting experience because it's great. You can like reflect on a road trip. I like road trips. You get snacks. I love one of my favorite things. Like I like nice things, but I love gas station coffee with like those creamers that are so damn sugary. That's like one of my guilty pleasures is just like crappy gas station coffee with the like French vanilla, like 9 of them, like too many.
Dude, in that Boulder house, we just nerded out on the creamer.
Yeah.
Like, just cream? Anyone want some cream?
Just a cup of creamer, a splash of coffee.
Sounds delicious.
I had a little scary moment though. I'll share this because it's a bit informative, I think, of our lives and lives as men. So I was driving and I took the scenic route. There's so many like moments where I was going to sell my car and I talked with, some of the guys. Rob gave me advice of he's like, dude, you're going to want your car down there. And so I took my car. I'm driving the 15 hours. I elected for the scenic route. Part of the scenic route is going through like Colorado mountains and all this in New Mexico. So I'm in like a gorgeous part. My car, I love it, but it's a little bit older now. And it like seized up in the mountains. I'm like driving like 80 miles an hour. And I don't know what happened, but it froze. I like could barely brake, and the steering wheel, I couldn't use the steering wheel and brakes are like, I would put those as top two on what you want. Like, so I was freaked. I was like legitimately freaked. I could get the brakes enough to work enough. And gratefully I was on like a straightaway to slow down enough and I could muscle the steering wheel to pull off. I was legitimately like freaked. And then there's no service in the mountains. So I'm like, okay, sick. I live here now. Like I have everything I own in my car. I'm like, if someone does pull off, there's a 50-50 shot. They're going to help me out or kill me and rob me. Like,
right.
But luckily I waited a bit, the car cooled down, whatever it was. And I could keep going. But there was a nice little moment where I was like driving through nowhere land. I think it was like on the border of New Mexico and Texas. And I pulled off at this gas station because like all these lights were on in my car. And there was this 24-year-old dude who looked like kind of a stoner dude, but he was doing work in his car. And my ego was like, you can't ask him for help on your car. Strictly out of.
How did you know he was 24?
I'm ballparking, but he had like, dude, he had like long curly hair.
Do you happen to be 24?
Carry on.
Thought so.
But it was so interesting because I felt for like the first few minutes, I couldn't ask him because I was like, this is my car. I'm a man. I need to know how to do this. I don't know how to do anything. And then finally I was like, you're being stupid, Weber. Like, and I said, hey man, do you mind like giving me a look on this? And he was so cool. And like, dude, there's like a stoner 24-year-old, middle of nowhere, Texas. He was on the way to go have dinner with his mom. And he was just like, dude, we got to look out for each other out here. And he was just like it was just a great human moment. And nice. He also showed me how to like fix something, which it's so funny how things are like mystical. I don't know how to work this. And he's like, yeah, you undo this, you do this. I was like, that was very straightforward. Anyways, that was it. I just wanted to share that. It was a nice little human moment.
I think it's, first of all, road trips are what I love about road trips is that there is a beginning and an end.
Yeah.
There really is this notion that, because I obviously deal with like depression and anxiety, and sometimes I get into those like spiral loops, and I've talked about it on the pod, because it almost feels like it's never ending, like the anxiety is never going to go away. And then I find these things, it could be small, like a road trip, it could be like something like doing the dishes where there's like a beginning and an end, and you're just like, oh, okay, there's like a literal end, and I finished that. And I know that road trips like are super, you can meditate, you can think. Like what was like the weirdest thought that kind of came into your head?
Oh gosh,
while you're on the road?
That's a good question. I don't know. I don't think I had any like bananas weird thoughts. Just like good like daydreaming and excitement. Oh, all right. I don't know if this is a weird one, but this was kind of fun. There's so many cows. And like, but they're like free roaming, like they're not in and I passed these two cows, two of them were eating grass, like head to head. And I was like, that's so cute. And then the next cow I saw was like playing and kind of like jumping around like a dog. And I was like, oh man, I gotta chill with burgers. Like
we eat those fun.
Yeah. Like, I mean, we've compartmentalized this, and I do think cows are nutritious and there's a healthy and humane way to do it, but they are big dogs. Like they are big dogs.
I mean, they're mammals. They're totally very similar to us in terms of, Jordan, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just curious as to what else were you doing to pass the time? 15 hours is a lot in the car. So was it audiobooks, podcast, silence, music?
Yeah, I did two podcasts. One was more like informational. It's like about like speaking and that. One was like true crimey. And then I like, just like what you guys said, I like just putting in music and just like checking out.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally just like
Well, on those long
checking out.
roads where it's like, cool, you don't have to make another turn for 175
Yeah,
miles.
yeah,
And you're
yeah.
like, okay, cool. You
Jordan,
ain't
you, I
gotta-
mean, because you road trip quite
Yeah.
often.
yeah.
Like you're in the car. How many miles is on your on your Jeep?
I have 152,000 miles on my Jeep.
Nice.
And I also have done a lot of projects with like camper vans. And I did that. I bought a camper van during the pandemic. And so, probably since rescuing the dogs, I have done, probably close to like 200,000 miles,
Wow.
just
It's a
on the
lot.
road. Yeah. Um, so no, I mean, I love it. And there's definitely like positives to it. And then there's also moments where I'm just like, why am I driving an extra 6 hours to do this? Like there's definitely moments of just, I am making this so much more difficult on my life because but at the same time, getting to bring my dogs on a lot of stuff, has been so great. And so the moments in the car to really like think to yourself has been really impactful. And so that's why I'm like, anytime someone's like doing a road trip, our buddy Yash just did one, and I'm just
Yeah,
like, dude, let's chat. Like, I want to know more. Like, tell me everything about it. Or
that's cool.
when they're on it, like, I'm always just kind of envious of people's road trips. And I love when they reach out to me to be like, hey, where should I go? I'm going through here. And I was like, well, here are the 4 things. It's like, it feels like I'm an expert in that space
Mm,
now.
you are.
Yeah, you really are. I mean, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I got some anxiety before when we went to Joshua Tree
Hmm.
and I was meeting you and Steph. I was like, I almost pulled out because I was like, I don't know if I can do the drive by myself. And it's only like 2.5 hours. It's like not a long drive, but I
Yeah.
definitely can get anxiety because I don't know, it's just so much time with your own head
Hmm.
and your own thoughts. And you're just like, what, what am I going to think about? What am I going to feel? But they're always at the end of a road trip, you always feel like a little bit clearer, right?
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, it allows you, it's like, it's literally meditating, especially depending on what you're listening to or doing, what or like whatever the therapy is of putting on those emo songs like, Paramore and Fall Out Boy and, all that kind of stuff where you're just like yelling and screaming with it. Or if it is just like a chiller tracks or just things that get you really excited, or just the silence. Sometimes I drive for like, miles on end where there's no audio playing and I'm just allowed to, my thoughts are allowed to circulate in and out however necessary.
Do you ever have like on Halloween, like creepy thoughts or I don't know, like does Halloween resonate to you with like death or the other side at all or not really?
No.
I'm a
Alex, you're
little.
muted. Oh.
Oh, I'm a little over the last like year, and this is not why I've always kind of never loved Halloween, but I think it's just from some personal experiences or whatever. But there is like some, and this is not like I love it for like kids getting dressed up and going trick or treating. Trick or treating is such a fun thing, like I loved that, and I have fond memories of that as a kid. Um, we don't have to go into this land either, but like the demonic part of it, I think is weird.
Yeah.
As I'm just like increasing my learning and spirituality. I think there's like a celebration of a fun day, which is kind of what we have in society. But then there's definitely, I think, some people who embrace maybe a like truly demonic aspect of what
Yeah.
this represents, and that's a lot. That's a lot.
And by demonic, you mean like when people really like are putting like mutilated bodies out in front of their yard.
Yeah, and like
And it's
rituals and ceremonies, like people will
oh, you're even
really,
going that far. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
like people, but I agree with you of like, I mean, all of it. I think if you're just like engaging in, I mean, we're kind of on this, so I'm just going to sum it up here. I mean, there was two devil worshippers. I like saw these articles posted about them, and they were like lifelong devil worshippers, and like that's a real thing. People do that, and that makes sense to their system. My heart breaks that it makes sense to do that. But their last words, like the people on their deathbed, like each of them had varieties of like the first one was like, why are you doing this to me? Get out, devil, get out. Like basically like, yeah, you just gave your life to the devil. He's not a good dude, man. Like, oh, he pulled out the rug at the last minute. Anyways, this is obviously a offshoot, but just go trick or treat and have good moments. Don't worship the devil.
Just be a Disney, animated character, and you'll be good. But before we get ahead of ourselves, I do, Rob. How are you?
So the check-in.
The two.
Oh yeah, the check-in. Where's Robbie? Where is Robbie?
Can you, feel free to cut this out right now, but are you willing to talk about last night's encounter?
Yeah. So I did run into my ex last night, which is just so crazy. It's literally like 1 year almost to the day that we broke up and we ran into each other. And this has been truly the hardest breakup I've ever experienced. I mean, there's just no question. And it was really cordial. It was just really nice. It was, she looked great. She said I looked great. We kind of caught up on where she's going and what life has, where life has taken her. And I was able to kind of make amends. I was holding on to some guilt and I was able to make amends, which was like really good. And then it was so funny because I went to this meditation and breath work thing. So like this interaction happened and then literally we go into a meditation and breath work for about an hour.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there and I'm just like, dude, that just happened. And I was so grateful. I literally was like, the universe like brought this, this moment for me to let go, for me to really like move on. And I felt so clear afterwards. I've just been feeling really good. And it was nice.
She was at the breathwork thing, or this just happened to be? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we were at this, it's called The Big Quiet. And yeah, I just saw her and I went up to her and I was just like, hi. And then, we started chatting and it was honestly great. Like for a lot of reasons, I've been able to let go of a lot.
That's so huge, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Hopefully we can sail that ship and move forward.
Yes, the ship has sailed, as I've said in the past. Now I've accepted that it has sailed, and it feels really good.
You can go back to your castle now, Lord Farquaad.
Do you see this like hairnet?
Yeah,
isn't that kind of funny? Yeah. Hairnets are gross.
So what is your costume, Bruno?
Okay, so my costume is from a Walt Disney picture called Encanto. And Leia got really into Encanto at the beginning of this year. And then she wanted to dress up like Tia Peppa, which is one of the characters in Encanto. And then she's like, oh, and you should be Bruno. So I'm Bruno, and we don't talk about Bruno if you know Encanto. We don't talk about Bruno, no.
Why not?
And because he lives in the walls and
I'll go watch.
He's like exiled from the family.
He's exiled, yeah. So
I'll watch it.
What's cute though is that Bruno has like pet rats that live with him in the walls. So I bought a pet rat on Amazon too, and it's upstairs in Leia's room. As soon as she saw this rat, she was like, he's so cute. Can I have him? I was like, of course. So like she's been loving on this stuffed animal pet rat. And like she puts him to bed and she puts like a little blanket over him.
Oh,
it's
so
just
cute.
so fucking cute. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited for Halloween. It's obviously like I have a 5-year-old. She's going to be dressing up. We're going to go trick-or-treating with some friends. We live in like literally the, suburbs of LA. So it's very like the kids are out and you literally like in South Pasadena, you like walk house to house and it's great trick-or-treating. It's like, it feels kind of out of a movie. Like it's that iconic. And I'm just, I remind myself that like, I have this little person that I need to like take care of and make sure she's having a good life and a good experience. And Halloween is definitely one of her favorite holidays. She's pumped.
What's your favorite candy?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. I feel like she likes all of it. Like
Mhm.
there's no, I've never seen her be like, that's not that candy. I
No,
can't.
candy's awesome.
Candy just rocks. Candy's
I
just
side
fun.
with more of like the chocolate candy versus like the
The
sugar
sour
candies.
sugar. Yeah.
Hmm.
I think she sides more with chocolate. Yeah.
Gosh, I'm
Hmm.
just thinking about it. Remember when you'd come back and you just have like a duffel bag
Yeah,
of
so much.
candy?
Or just like the continued, just like the concerns of like, check your kids' candies before there's like,
Razor blades in your apples.
yeah.
Oh, so what people were just
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the news just heightening it. It's
oh
like
yeah.
everything gets heightened on the news. It's
Sure.
just no one. I mean, I don't know if anybody's actually gotten a razor blade in their apple.
Well, you're
But
in a nice neighborhood and
yeah, likely no razor blades
exactly.
in the
There
apples.
have been jokes on the internet recently of there's a meme going around of just like open candy and just like horrifying sports or just like pop culture experiences of just like be wary, like the Colts Broncos game can be inside your Snickers and you have to watch the whole game. Like everyone was hating on how bad the game was. Like people are putting that in your
That's
candy
funny.
now. Like so.
Do you
Yeah.
guys
Jordan,
have
how are you?
any?
Oh,
Oh yeah, Jordan.
No,
How are you
ask your
doing?
question and then I'll jump and then
I was gonna say, like, do you guys have any intentions for Halloween? Are you going into it like I just noticed, like, Alex, you mentioned, remember that time when we used to like dump out a duffel bag full of candy? And I just, it made me think about like fifth grade Halloween when that was all that mattered, was like how much candy I
Mhm.
got. And I think after that, starting in as early as sixth grade, I've just been obsessed with girls. And every
yeah. I mean,
Halloween was just
Halloween.
like,
Yeah. We
just
Mhm.
used to
like,
go to Molly Shulman's, or
exactly.
whatever. We can bleep her name, but it's Molly Shulman. And because she lived right around in Bedford Village, there was like this great suburban area you could walk, and she lived there. And her parents liked Halloween, and they were always baking stuff. So we'd have like a pre get together for trick or treating. We were in like middle school into high school, and then you could like go back to Molly's if you were in the inner crew and watch like a scary movie all together. And that's when like some people would like cuddle, or like if you did
Mhm.
like someone, maybe you'd hold hands or make out. And um,
It's just like, it's crazy. You only have like, like 6 years of being a kid almost.
yeah,
Not saying that at the age of 6, you start liking boys, but like really at the age of 10, I remember in fifth grade, like that you're 10 years old, 10, 11, you start really like, that's what you think about. Or at least
Mhm.
that was how it was for me. And I'm just thinking like, man, what a successful Halloween used to be. It was just like, fuck, we got a lot of candy tonight. It was fun. And then it just turns
Yeah.
into obsessing about girls.
It's very true. Like I think there's a lot of moments with Halloween where that where it is about like, oh, hopefully I'll like see so and so out, or let's make sure the plans are to come together and to see them and trick or treat at a couple homes. And you're doing that as like a 12-year-old. And it's like, oh, we held hands like walking from house to house for like 2 minutes. It was amazing. And or like was shaving cream fights big for you guys?
Mm-mm.
No.
We did some TP though. We
Okay.
definitely TP'd and egged.
Okay. Ooh, a little troublemaker.
Yeah, I egged my neighbor's house, and it
Wow.
was
they're
so bad because
they're
then they
probably
egged
pissed.
my house, and my parents were like, "What the fuck, Rob?" And I was like, "I didn't throw the eggs." And they're like, "You egged them, and now they egged us back." I was definitely a
That's
troublemaker.
We
that's
used to
so
knock
funny.
down mailboxes, which is such a dick thing.
Wow.
We would crush mailboxes. It wasn't even like a
Federal
thing.
offense.
Well, allegedly, we would crush mailboxes. Like, yeah.
Well,
Like with
there
a
was a
bat, or how would
It
you
was
crush
just,
them?
dude, when you're in high school, it's just like that's the like, oh, we're gonna go drink in the woods, and you want to knock down some mailboxes? Oh, for sure, obviously. Like put on some
Obviously.
Skinner and ACDC and we'll crush it. Yeah.
well, my brother introduced me to what's pumpkin bowling. And so what you do is you drive around and you take people's pumpkins off of their front porch and then find like workhorses, the like the stationary when there's like road work happening,
Oh
the
yeah, yeah.
horses that are up there.
Like the
You
sound
you
signs
drive
almost.
by and then you throw the pumpkin out the window and try to knock over as many as you can.
I've never done that. That sounds so fun. I'm gonna do that
Yeah.
with Leia.
We got to-
It's called pumpkin bowling. Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
The
Leia's
gay
like,
pirate
Dada,
was
what are you
arrested.
doing? A gay pirate was arrested with his child. You don't talk about Bruno. No. Leia, don't tell anyone what we did.
Jordan, how are you, man?
I'm great. Well, I will say quickly, like I try to keep expectations low in any circumstance because then they can be exceeded. When I have really high expectations for things in the past, I was always like let down because I was like, this is going to be the greatest night ever. And then when you have those expectations, like it actually being the greatest night ever is hard to actually
Mhm.
connect. So it's like, I like Halloween. I'll hopefully find a party to go to or have, meet up with some friends and go do something and something will happen out of it and it'll be a good night. How am I doing? I'm good. I'm very thrown off. I was at a cabin shooting for Stayamo from Sunday to Tuesday. And when I woke up yesterday, I was like, what day is it? Like, where it like threw me off so much. And so just trying to get back onto like a normal schedule, especially knowing that I'm leaving for New York for my niece's birthday. And then we're celebrating my mom's birthday after that. So I'm in New York for a week and just trying like it feels even though I have like a week still here that I'm like every day is now packed with something to do for some reason, which isn't a bad thing. And I'm really happy to have like friends and connections and to be going on dates and doing that kind of stuff. But I'm a extroverted introvert that I need like recharge time. I need just to like be by myself and not do anything. And so to like go to this cabin and then the next night back to like have this Halloween bar and then I feel like I'm like the Bears
You
are
need
playing
like
tonight. So like
you need a recharge. You need just
yes.
like a little recharge
Yeah.
time on the couch, not making content, almost just like a reset, not hosting a visitor.
Mhm.
Like it's a lot, man. I mean,
Sure.
when you have people visit, it is just a lot. It's a lot to host. And so I hear you. And then you add all this travel and it's like you're
Yeah. It's
Jay
just like
Jay needs
where's
to
time for me?
recharge.
I
Right.
do.
What
The
if you got a
recharge is so
massage?
important.
Would you get a
Ooh,
massage?
I love
Should
getting
we all get
massages.
massage?
Yeah.
Can we be massage like accountability
You know
buddies and
what?
like
That's a good thing. I've
just
never,
get
I,
I
one
love that.
massage a month? That's all we have to do.
and if you're listening, join our massage club.
Yeah.
It's a good thing, man, because I have trouble receiving and also like self-worth stuff where like all of that, like a massage is like, no, you don't deserve it. It's frivolous, it's indulgent, it's guilty, and you're just laying there receiving,
You
right?
think all those things during a
Yeah.
massage?
Are
No,
you
all that goes into
seriously?
why I've gotten maybe one in my life, and it was because I
Oh,
kind
I
of like
feel
had
like
to.
you need it more than
You need it more.
anyone.
You got to go once a week
Let,
prescribed. I'm serious. You got
Anything
to
to
go once a
loosen
week
this
for
up.
6 weeks, man.
let's
Yeah.
all hold each other accountable between now and next recording. We're gonna get a massage.
Okay, we got a
Okay.
week to get a massage.
And if you're listening, because you are, get a massage
Get a massage.
and let us know.
A
But
massage.
yeah.
Yeah, let us know how your massage is. I actually
While
How
it's
about
happening.
before the month is over? Because I'm tempted to do it while I'm in New York.
Okay, fine. Before the month is over.
so we've got a little over
Yeah,
2
2
weeks.
weeks.
Okay, 2 weeks.
Perfect.
All right. So Halloween, obviously to our listeners, it's, we want to wish you a very happy Halloween, very, very satisfying Halloween. I guess like, why don't we do around the horn of just like, just an intention for our listeners and for ourselves for this year's Halloween. Does that sound okay?
I
That
love
sounds
that.
good. Could we, and then as we finish up after, could we do maybe a check-in on if you're going through anything?
I love
Sure.
that. I do have
Yeah.
a question also
Yeah,
from the audience.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
we got
Should
so
we
much.
do okay? So we've got 3 things before
Let's
we wrap up
do
today's
intentions
episode.
right now.
Okay.
And then
Okay,
I think we'll do a
intentions.
question and then we'll finish with going through things.
Pew, 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 pew. Hey.
Okay. I'm going to send this intention out. And again, this is for me, but it might be helpful for the audience listening. Okay. Hey listeners, it's me, Dad Bob. My intention for this Halloween is to be so present with my daughter, see her enjoy dressing up, see her enjoy trick-or-treating, revel in her just awesomeness. And that's part one. And then part two, when I go out later, I'd like to make it about being silly, being authentically myself, having so much fun, sober. And I'd like to dance. I'd like to dance a little bit.
Love that.
That's
Yeah.
good, man.
Thanks. I'm gonna kick it over to J Town.
Yes.
I mean Jay. Jay.
J City.
I am going to. I think being present is very important. Of just whoever end up hanging out with for it, whether it's friends or if a date happens. Great. And just being very appreciative of someone wanting my company and wanting their company. I think playing like a child is something that I continue to bring up. So just to let loose a little bit, whatever that means, of just let's go find a house party and be silly, or let's, I like the idea of dancing. I'm going to steal that one too. So presence and dancing is what I'm going to steal, but mostly like be grateful for the presence of whoever I have, the company, as well as just being a kid, that inner child.
Good ansies. I'm gonna borrow some of both of yours. I mean, what popped into my head was just enjoy it. But then as I heard you all say, I think I want to be lighthearted. Lighthearted would be good. I'm in a new city and like, where do I get invited? What am I going to? Am I, who am I with? And I think my brain will just like cook up. And I think lighthearted feels good of just like, just like smile and talk to people and have some fun and enjoy it. And just like, a little careless,
Careless.
So lighthearted,
Yeah.
lighthearted feels good to me.
Snaps.
Snappity snap, 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 snap,
Pew,
snap, snap,
pew,
snap.
pew, 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 pew. So who's got a question from the audience?
I got one from Nicolette. She goes, here is my awkward, vulnerable, long-winded question.
Good.
When I match with someone on a dating app, I first ask them a few questions about my deal breakers. She goes on to mention some of her deal breakers. It's a way I can filter out people who don't, and I don't want to waste anyone's time. For the ones that do have a strong relationship with one of her deal breakers, it's hard to transition out of my serious questions and it kills the fun vibe. And asking or answering the "how are you" or "how was your weekend" to a perfect stranger gets really boring. Hard to balance getting info while being fun. Any suggestions on transitioning out of deal breaker questions based on the ones above to being more fun?
Did she share? You don't have to share them, but did she share her deal breaker questions?
It was one that she referenced.
Is it okay to share it, or does it seem?
Sure. Yeah, no, I'm okay. I mean, she wrote it. So I was just trying to be as like more benign as possible. But she goes, for me, it's someone having a close relationship with God. And so for the ones that do have a strong relationship with God, it's hard to transition out of my serious questions and it kills the fun vibe. So what are some ways that you can filter through people with like serious questions, but also be able to like have a positive conversation that once you know that the deal breaker isn't there, like, how can you?
This is bringing up for me, like talking about sobriety on dates, because it always comes up, because mostly dates, it's like, oh, let's go get a drink, or let's do this. And then it's like, depending on who I'm with, they'll be like, so why did you get sober? Or when did you get sober? How has it been? And I find myself talking about, all the layers of sobriety in terms of just, my wife died and then the pandemic happened, and then, happy drinking turned into sad drinking.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it gets serious. I always feel better that I share, because it's a defining, point of my lifestyle, and it's a defining piece of me. But I will say that it definitely turns the evening a little bit more serious, but I'm a pretty silly dude, so I can redirect it pretty quickly.
Yeah, that was going to be my advice as well, or feedback is like, you're talking about foundational things, which are so important. Like, do you want to have kids, religious beliefs, maybe political beliefs, maybe, those are so foundationally important. I don't know. I mean, you could bring it out of the gates, or like you can just make sure you actually enjoy this person. And then before maybe going on the date, saying, hey, something I'd want to share that's important to me, just wanted to get your thoughts. But I think to Rob's point, like you could also share it on the date. Listen, the people have different personalities. And I think Rob, myself, and Jordan are kind of silly dudes. So we can go to something serious and then like hard pivot to something goofy.
Yeah.
But I would just gift yourself that freedom of like, you can take, there's something in like stories, they call it almost like a rose petal or like a leaf, like you're on the stem of the story and then you can take a little tour on a leaf and then get right back to the stem. And so I think like you can take a minute, 2 minutes and talk about something that's intense or serious, and then just gift yourself the chance to just like hard pivot to like, so what's your favorite fruit?
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
It's a good one. It's a good one.
No, but I mean that, like,
wrong.
Touch on it because it's so important to you and share why it's important. I think Rob is sharing a bit of his background, so it comes off less accusatory of like, you're drinking, I'm not on board with that. That'd be my piece, to share why it's important to you.
And I do think it's like, because it can be intense and maybe you don't want to be too far gone meeting someone, the amount of effort that it takes for everyone to come together and meet is a lot. And then to get disappointed by a situation of like, wow, we are not seeing eye to eye on this like deal breaker for me, or this very important subject on me. Like, this is a big letdown. Is that I think the rose petal is a great analogy that is just kind of like, keep bouncing from it, like, like bring it up, and if you want to, as the FaceTime vibe check beforehand, hey, let's see if this is even a good thing, and I can bring it up then so it's not as intense, and then cool, I know one side or the other.
FaceTime God check.
Exactly.
Do you believe in God? Oh, you do? Okay, I'll be at the restaurant in 20 minutes.
Exactly. And then you can continue the conversation, and it can be flowy and hitting on intense stuff, and then being fun and jokey and all that kind of. And I agree. Like, some people do need the good morning text every day, or the how was your weekend, and like there's just like some sort of transition of getting to know people as well. It's like, hey, what do you like? Thursday on is like, hey, any fun plans this weekend? What are you up to? To be like, oh, they're going to this concert, or they're going to this art festival. They're doing, like, you learn a lot about those people. So, but you can only ask that so many times before it's like, are we meeting or not? But it is some sort of a transition.
Yeah.
It's a great question. Great question.
Yeah. Thank you, Nicolette. We appreciate that. Well, we're nearing the end of this episode. I'm sweating through my wig.
Did you type in like Encanto costume for that top?
Yeah, for the top. Yeah. And this is what they gave me.
Yeah.
It sounds a little judgy. I'm not gonna lie.
No, it wasn't judgy. I was wondering if you had something that could purpose as it, or
a green poncho. Yeah, I have a collection of green ponchos that I whip out.
And then I was thinking, well, it's probably not good fabric, so that's probably why it's hot. But yeah, no, you're right.
No. I feel good. I'm gonna wear this the rest of the day, even though Halloween isn't for 2 weeks. Well, okay, let's finish with a where we're at. Is that what we're gonna do today?
It's are we going through something?
Oh, are we going through something? Yeah, Alex, can you set this up, please?
I know. Well, I guess I'll just give mine. I am very much aware of, there's like almost like a chart of, I'm super easygoing guy. If my liking someone is not that extreme, I'm just very aware that like the chart moves. It's like a direct line. And as my feelings increase for someone, so does my like protection, or like intensity, or like guardedness, but then like I'm not a guarded person. So I'm also like very loving and passionate and unfiltered. But then like my want to protect myself will then jump to like, well, it's, I'll like close up and I'm like, well, it's back to just me and me. It's like always just being me, me and me, and like almost like a me against the world response.
Mm-hmm.
So and I'm also realizing like the journey of my life, I now have awareness around it, whereas in the past I didn't. And if I'm ever going to move through it, it really needs to be now, or else I very well may not. And I might just keep repeating the same kind of things.
Dude, that's super profound awareness, like self-awareness. And I would just say that like a word that I try and use in my daily fucking spirals and craziness is just like pause, and
Good.
just pause, because usually what you're feeling is valid and you don't necessarily need to act off, on it, or just like lash out. Like I have a problem lashing out when I get super stressed or super
Yeah.
intense. So yeah, man, I think it's an exciting place to be
Thanks,
honest.
man.
Yeah.
It's good. It's
Yeah.
good.
A new
guys.
chapter for you. It's really exciting.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Jay, where
Yeah. I'm still going through the thought process of like, what does it mean to be someone's boyfriend, and and those kind of steps and that kind of step up of commitment. And at the same time, more importantly, I think it is having tough conversations with people that I need to, like our conversation at the beginning of this, like just I was built like it just need to be said. Otherwise I was going to build resentment, or there was going to be um, just general frustration. And so where I'm at is I'm not always great at like setting personal boundaries or like bringing up difficult conversations around my feelings. And so I think continuing to do that and be better at that is a skill that I'm really trying to push on. And I think that will allow me to be a better boyfriend in the future.
snaps.
Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Okay, I'll finish. Bruno Moore here. I I feel so much lighter than I have in a really long time. I feel a lot lighter. I'm not holding on to this guilt. I'm not holding on to this worry. Did I do the right thing? Did I fuck up? Am I a bad guy? I cleared a lot of that energy last night, which I'm just extremely grateful to the universe for. It's just like weird how things happen. So I literally said last night, I was like, I think I'm going to be single for like another year. That's kind of what I like said out loud. And my friend Dan turned to me and he's like, dude, I am so proud of you for saying that. And the reason he said, I'm so proud of you, is just because I feel like since I've been very little, I just like needed a relationship. I've needed female input. I've needed that female kind of like, you're doing great, and reassurance. And there's nothing wrong with that. That is a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel for the first time in my life, I'm okay. I can stand on my own. I can raise my daughter. I can build my business. I can get creative online and just like, sure, date. But I'm just like, I'm standing on my own 2 feet, which feels really good. And there's a lack of neediness. There's less neediness out in the world of, dating and females for that kind of, what's the word? Self-actualization, kind of like needing a woman to see me in order for me to see myself.
Snaps. Love that.
Snappies.
I think giving yourself that space and that patience, as opposed to being like, I know last episode you're like, I just realized I want a girlfriend. I want like, and then also
Right.
being like, it's probably a year before I'm truly like ready.
I literally did say that last episode. I want a girlfriend. But no, I think there's truth in both, but it's less from a neediness. I want, but I don't need a girlfriend. Does that make sense?
It might be good. Jordan's good at this. Like, and I think I'm going to do it too. I'm going to say journal. I think it would be good for all three of us, but I'm just moving to Austin. I think it would be a good thing for me to write down, like, with clarity, what do I want for this chapter before I get really in it. And I think, Rob, you just had a very impactful moment and you have like good clarity. Maybe when we hop off, like writing a little bit, because our brains
I
are our
journaled
brain.
last night.
Okay, good.
Good.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Manifestation, baby. Yeah. Especially with this new chapter for you, is just like write out what you want. Keep writing it out. Keep visualizing it. Keep actualizing it. It's powerful. It's important.
What a great Halloween episode, guys.
You know what I realized too, like midway through? We did the Halloween episode a week early, which I fucking love. This is just pure comedy.
We love Halloween so much, we had to do it sooner.
Maybe we'll do another costume episode next, just to see what Alex.
Let's do a Thanksgiving episode a month early. All right, guys, listeners out there, first of all, we love you. Second of all, thank you for spending this hour with us and an hour with us every week. We cannot do this without you listening. It just like really empowers us to like keep sharing and keep being vulnerable. And we thank you so much for following along. We ask that if you can take 2 seconds to leave a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts, it really helps us just like boost and get more listeners. And if you can share this with one friend, still single, we'd love their earballs as well as yours. So as always, I'm Rob Moore. You can follow me at Rob Michael Moore. You can follow Alex at I'm Alex Weber. And you can follow Jay, Jordan Kahana at Jordan Kahana. And then follow us on Instagram at We Are Still Single, or on TikTok, Still Single Pod. I feel like I just said so many words.
You crushed it, dude. Say more words.
Okay, you can find us on YouTube. Just if you can, subscribe to our YouTube channel. That also takes 2 seconds. We're putting in some resources, some time into building out the long form episodes, and we want to get our viewership up so that we keep putting out these long form episodes.
And to do like a live show and do some fun little like IRL activations.
Yes.
In real life, IRL.
Love activations.
In real life.
IRL. Well, happy Halloween.
Check that candy.
Yeah, no razor blades. Love you, dudes.
Love y'all.
Love you.